Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the champion tournament, and I think this is a video that is following up the previous video that I did that was around what I called mid-game, which was for a gold and platinum player. And today I'm going to do a specific video on the champions tournament. How do you maintain yourself in champions tournament, how do you progress in champions tournament, and then eventually how you get promoted to the Legend League. So Champions Tournament is an extremely competitive tournament, and because of the inflation of the people getting there, it's pretty hard now to get to Legend. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to be able to get to the next tier. So I wanted to give you some ideas of what are the tools that you can try to work on to be able to have an edge on your competitors. For people that are quite new to the game, the Champions Tournament 8 months ago or so was the last tier of tournament that was available, and it was already like very competitive. Now that we have the Legend, it relieve like some of the people from this tournament to the next one, but it's still, like as I said, a very competitive tournament. I'm going to try to cover a lot of aspects of the game, and you need to think that reaching this level you will need to have those all the aspects of the game at a very good state or at an excellent state. And if you want to compete and progress to the next stage, this is very important. There is no like part of the game at this stage that you can neglect. So it's not like you can say, I don't really care about modules, they're not really that important, or that's fine if I don't get like the perfect setup on cards. No, you actually need to have everything lined up together. And one of the things also that is going to matter is your economy, the number of coins that you are making. But when I'm saying economy, I'm talking about every single currency that you are capable of getting through the games. So coins is the one that we are thinking about, like the most obvious one. But gem is extremely important, and being able to collect as much gems as possible is also something that is going to help you. The difference between someone clicking 3 times a day and someone clicking 30 times a day is massive on the long run, because this is adding up, and most likely what is going to happen is that those gems it's going to directly reflect on the quality of your module. So the second things that I mean by economy is every currencies that are linked to modules. So currency, there is 2 kind of currencies. There is the reroll shard, and there is the shards that you get from your modules. This is very important that you get a good economy on those, because modules are very long to build, but they are massive when it comes to the difference between 2 towers. If you get the right epic modules at the right stage with the right stats, and then you get like multiple of them stats, like because you're already like 161 when people, or maybe 141 when people are just working with 4 substats, that is giving you a very important edge. And to be able to do that, then what is very important is that if you go to the research that you have on your module, you want to have a good level of research on your module. Here, so you see the common drop chance, this is something that needs to be maxed. Rare drop chance, this is something that needs to be maxed. Daily mission shard, very important. Reroll shard, very important. Module shard cost, this is something that is less important because you're not losing out every day that you don't have it maxed. This is retroactive, so you want to work on that, but that's not the priority. And then obviously there is the coins, but coins are a little bit of a trap, because you will have a very strong diminishing return on investment through the workshop enhancement. When you start having one click that is 6 trillion to get not even 1%, because you're moving from 1.6 to 1.61, so it's not even 1%, it's less than that. Clearly, it's a lot of coins for something that is not providing you a lot of value. So I think coins is very important early on, middle game as well. Then after, in champions, I would say that there is 2 roads that you can take, and if you decide to take the economical one, there is something that you need to invest that is not that, and I'm going to talk about it later in this video. So economically, all those things needs to be like a sustainable amount. I'm not even going to say that you need to participate to every single tournament to be able to get the stones to improve your ultimate weapon, because that is like mandatory at this level. Quick pause here to say that if you like what you see in the video and you wish to support me, you can go here and in creator code you can enter my creator name, which is Noobodytest, the name of this channel, and this is going to help me tremendously. You can also do that to the Tower web store, where actually things are providing you more value for the same amount of money, and you get extra pack that you don't see in game that are quite good value. So adding me here is also going to support me. Thank you very much, and I carry on with the video. Moving on to guilds, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on guilds. You need to have a guild, and you need to have a guild that every week is finishing every stat here. This is not negotiable. If you don't have a guild like this, then you need to leave it and you need to apply to a new guild. If you don't know how to apply to a new guild, you need to join the common Discord for the tower. I'm going to leave a link down below. By the way, you're gonna get a lot of advice on this Discord, so if you want to join it, it's going to be beneficial for you. But having a guild that is finishing all those things is very important. And in the store, what you always want to buy is the relics, because they stack even if you don't use it. The bonus that you see here is going to be permanent and is always going to happen. So you need to buy those things, and you need to buy everything here that is providing you cash, coins, passive bonuses. This is your top priority. Normally, if you do everything correctly, you should be able to buy everything else. Everything in here before the 53 days. This is something that you manage to clear, but that's like top priority is what I just mentioned. On the Guardians, you want to work on fetch. This is very important because it's going to provide you passively some gems and some medals. So you want to have fetch at a level that you are comfortable running every day, maxing every day those two currency, the medal and the gems. So this is very important. You want to consider doing night runs, and what I call by night runs is basically you are lowering a little bit the difficulty versus what you are farming to get a run that is longer than the entirety of your night, and then you launch it before the night with something that is in a status that it can carry on without you looking at it, and then you leave it through the night. This is something that is going to help you tremendously because it's going to provide you maybe like 8-9 hours worth of coins that you will not get if you don't plan a night run. So that's something that I will also recommend. Moving on to the medals, obviously what you want with the medals is you want to buy the relics here. This is the number one priority. Then you want to have the tower themes. I think this is very nice. And then personally what I like to do is I buy the two first pack of stones here, and that's pretty much it. Then after I invest into my golden bots if I want to work on economy. And one of the things that you need to start doing when you are working on the Champions tournament, especially towards the end, is working on your Amplify bot. Working on your Amplify bot is going to help you with the transition on hybrid, and this is actually something that is very important, especially working with the range, because you want to have as much damage as possible on a given range so you don't have to care about those enemies. So you just work on the range, the rest is pretty much not the top priority. And then the golden bot that is providing you good revenue is very important. I don't think thunder and flame bot is very important in champion. Actually those two are way more important. Regarding cards, you want to be at 15 cards minimum into the champion to be successful, and this is my recommended setup. So the setup is a hybrid setup that has two interests. The first one is you want to have damage. And why do you want to have damage? Because if you are playing hybrid, you rely both on damage and health. And damage is providing you some health through, hopefully you have it, the death wave here. So you need to have a strong death wave to be able to get the maximum health that you need within the tournament, which is probably time 10, time 11, depending on your research. So you want to max it during the tournament. So that's why you have the damage here. Attack speed, I mean, this is self-explanatory. You need to push everyone and you need to have the damage. Health, extra defense, this is to tank. Critical chance, this is to boost your damage and your health through the death wave. Extra orb is very good, and usually I do recommend that you are putting the extra orb on the range, the external range actually of your tower, so you are DPSing all the enemies that you're not capable of killing. Range, having more range is also beneficial because the enemy will take more time to reach your tower, so it provides some kind of control that I quite like with this. Recovery package, I think usually is pretty good because that is giving you a level of survivability on your tower. If you're not playing with the wall, that is very appreciable. So if you're playing with the wall, you probably don't need it, but this is going to help you. And also, if you are playing with a Galaxy Compressor, which is not the best module for tournament right now in Champion, but if you are playing with Galaxy Compressor, it's going to reduce the CD of your ultimate weapon and potentially help you with a chronofield that is not maxed. Bring more often the Golden Tower, which is going to provide you more income to max your stats. So that is pretty good. Berserk, I mean, this is, I just explained. Demon Man and Second Wind will allow you to steal more wave at the end. Ultimate crit, this is very important if you start relying on your Chain Lightning especially, so this is going to help you. Plasma Cannon, I mean, okay, and then Cash and Free upgrade. And then when you don't need Cash and Free upgrade, you switch with Slow Aura here and Death Ray. That is my recommendation. If you get a little bit more space, you can potentially squeeze Landmine Stun or Energy Net. I prefer Landmine Stun than Energy Net, but depending on what is running, Energy Net can be a good one if you have the orbs that are dealing damage to the boss, and there is not the perk that is increasing the speed of the enemy randomly. The perk that I mentioned is the perk that we have here, which is Fast Ultimate. The problem with Fast Ultimate is that it's not a steady buff that you are always going to have and you just need to adjust the orb. Is that sometimes the boss is going to be boosted like 5% of the duration and then it's going to end up in a certain position, like from the tower. If the tower is here, it's going to be boosted and it's going to be trapped with the net here. And then sometimes it's not going to be trapped here, but because it's not boosted, so it's here. And then sometimes it's going to be boosted longer and then it's there. So you can't predict where the boss is going to be within your range, and you can't set those orbs that I just mentioned in the trajectory of the boss. So when you have these things here, it's actually not a great idea to use the net because it's not going to provide you a lot of value. If you don't have it and the boss position on your tower is going to be reliable, you want to position the net so the orbs are hitting it when it is in the net. And if you have orb deal damage to boss, you are going to deal a lot of damage from this to the boss. Finally, one card that is that can be worth trying, especially at the beginning when you are just starting in Champion, is Enemy Balance. The idea behind Enemy Balance is that potentially you're gonna get more enemy early on that have low health, and then if you are not capable of maxing your death wave, or you really have like a death wave that is popping off very quickly, the fact that you have more enemy early on is going to increase the multiplicator that you get from those enemies, and this is going to help you to stay longer through your EHP. The downside of this is that you are going to have to deal with more enemy, and then towards the end of the champion you will want to be able to max your death wave without using this card. Regarding the cash bonus that you get, this is completely irrelevant. Normally when you are in Champion, you should be able to max everything into your workshop through the auto upgrade. So really, enemy balance is important only for the death wave. The cash could be great before, when we didn't have the ELS enemy level skip reduction on the Champions tournament, but now because it's so drastic, the enemy level skip reduction, you don't even count on getting this like quickly. So I don't think the cash is really worth it. really this is for Death Wave. Next one is going to be like quite obvious, but you won't do your milestone. I think it's important that you take a little bit of time to get those relics that you see here. If you are in champions, then the chance is that you potentially can claim at least the first 4 relics. So this is something that you want to get. It's going to help you a little bit, and you are going to get the bonus here that you haven't unlocked. I don't know how much you can go, but there is some lab research speed. I think it's tier 6. So if potentially you manage to squeeze the 4500 wave of the tier 6, that's also something that is going to help you. So don't sleep too much on those bonuses. It's going to help you. I'm not saying that you should give a try every single day to this, but if you never give a try in the past 2 months, maybe it's worth trying to get those relics and see if you can get a little bit of boost from this. Moving on to module, I have a dedicated video that is 30 minutes long just on module, so I'm not going to get to the same level of details that this video that is only focused on module. So if you think that the information that you get through this video is not sufficient, you can go and check this video. You're gonna get a little bit more information and potentially the one that you need. So the ultimate the epic module that you are looking for is Death Penalty. This is by far the best one. The reason is that you are going to basically ignore 15% of enemies just with the passive. Now, it's very important to realize that even if the passive is good on attack modules, if you have a quality that is higher with another kind of module, it's probably better to use this other kind of the module, because like the difference between ancestral stat and mythic stat, or even like legendary and mythic stats, is quite important. So you want to use for the cannon, and I insist for the cannon, the best quality that you have available. If you have multiple modules with the same quality, the best one is Death Penalty. The stat that you want is attack speed, critical factor, critical chance, and then eventually after you can go for super critical chance and then super critical multiplicator. The reason I'm not using the Death Penalty here is because this one is 4 stars and the Death Penalty here is only 1 star. And if I equip it, you see that the passive bonus that I have, which is a little bit less than multiplied by 8, is much higher with this one that is 8.7. And this difference in damage multiplicator is surpassing the fact that I'm not getting the perfect unique effect. So this is actually the same thing that I was explaining. Because the quality of this one is superior to the Death Penalty, I prefer to use this one versus the Death Penalty because it's overperforming. Regarding the economical bonus, the best one is the project funding. This is amazing when you're doing an hybrid build, which you should. So you should have this module in use for this slot. Another option that is less strong but can have some interest is potentially the Galaxy Compressor. So those two are the two modules that you can use, and I do recommend that project funding is prioritized over Galaxy Compressor because the damage bonus that you get is amazing. This is very nice. Regarding the slot for ultimate weapon, there is no negotiation. It's Dimension Core that needs to be used. The only reason you will not use Dimension Core is if you have not unlocked the Chain Lightning. But if you have not unlocked the Chain Lightning, I think you are going to really struggle to be able to move to the next tier. So Dimension Core to me is the things that you need to have. It's providing you another multiplicator that is extremely good. It's multiplying by 2 the chance of shock, and the shock bonus that is applied. So really an amazing module that you are going to carry on up to legend. So this is what you need to use here. Regarding the module that you are using this defensively, there is 2 options. You can use the wormhole redirector, or if you have a strong wall, you can use the sharp fortitude that is going to boost your wall. So this is something that is on a case by case, but that are the 2 modules that I think are good to be used. I think you have a little bit more, like towards the end, when you are really close to a glass cannon, you can potentially try ACP, which is the glass cannon module. It's just that I think that in general, in champions, the people do not have built ACP very well. So if you want to use it, it's fine. I think it's a great module. If you are running glass cannon, it's the best module for glass cannon, but it's potentially not something that you're gonna get. And if it's nerfing you EHP that much that now you are dying because of lacking EHP, potentially it's not a great module because it has no effect on bosses. So already if you're struggling on bosses, I do not recommend ACP. I think working on EHP potentially with the Wormhole Redirector, or the best module being the Sharp Fortitude if you have a wall, this is going to help you way more. And by the way, as the bonus here that is multiplying the health by 2, this is what is making this module pretty good. If you are using the wall into the cards, I didn't mention the health regen. I think health regen is a bit of a trap, because potentially if you not manage to get rid of the scatters, you will not be able to regen enough to be able to deal with the things. So health regen, I'm not a big fan in. I'm going to quickly go through the substat of this one because it's important. Actually, I mean, from this one, I think one of the things that is very important is that you need to have chain lightning chance. This is very important. The spotlight, if you have a great spotlight, that is something that potentially can help. But to me, I think is the chronofield speed reduction. If you have a chronofield that is permanent, that is going to help you. Lightning quantity, if you don't have chronofield, this is going to be very important. And then spotlight, if you have at least 3 beam, then potentially the degree on spotlight is going to help you as well to clean the enemies that are in a good fraction of your screen. So that is to me the recommendation. You're probably going to have full substat in champion. So the number 1 priority to me is chain lightning. If you have chronofield that is permanent, is the chronofield speed reduction. That is the number 2 priority. Number 3 priority is going to be chain lightning quantity. And then number 4 priority is going to be the spotlight angle. So that is what I think you should go in this order. I will not talk about the lab right now because I think the lab is going to be very important, that you are actually supporting with the lab the strategy that you are following. And today I'm proposing 2 different strategies that you can have to maximize the bonus on your tower and be able to go into the next league. So the first strategy is going to be relying on economy. And this is not a strategy that I did, but it can be viable. And the idea is that you want to lower the cooldown of Death Wave, Golden Tower, and Black Hole to be as low as possible. You want to synchronize them through the Multiverse Nexus with a good quality, so like you get like -10 seconds, and then you want to have like great substat on this, so you generate a lot of coins. You want to have a lot of stones that are going into the Black Hole, the Golden Tower, and the Death Wave, and you are building a massive economy. And when I say a massive economy, I'm talking about something that is probably like 200 billion coins per minute minimum. It's like the bare minimum for this strategy to work. You want to have something that is like a very strong economy, minimum 200 billion coins per minute, to be able to sustain the strategy that I'm explaining here. And from this point, when you are reaching around probably like 200 trillion a day worth of farming, what you want to do is you want to start buying the card masteries. And why do you want to do that? Is because this is going to provide your tower a very significant boost that is going to be an edge versus the other competitors. But the thing is that you are going to buy it with stones. So you see the first level of mastery is unlocked with stones. But after, every other bonuses that you see here is unlocked through a research, and those research are extremely expensive. Like the first level is 1 quadrillion coin. So you need to be able to sustain. You see here they are level 3 and it's 1.6 quadrillion coins, and my coin reduction research is quite high. It's level 68. So you see I have like 20% reduction discount and it's 1.6. So it should be 2 quadrillion and it's actually only 1.6 quadrillion for the level 3. So you will need to have a massive economy to be able to do this. But if you do so, you will get an edge versus the others, because potentially you can get like a very good cards that they don't have, and that's basically like a bonus. You multiply by 2 the damage that you are dealing. So that is a possibility. Then when you reach this level of farm, you want to focus after on 3 ultimate weapons. The first one is Chain Lightning. You want to have a very strong Chain Lightning. So my setup here is without the module that I'm using for tournament. I'm going to show you what I mean by a very strong. So this is a very strong Chain Lightning. You have a high percentage of chance, you have high quantity, and you have high damage. And this is very important because it's your main source of damage. You want to have a high percentage of chance because obviously it's going to trigger more damage, but also because you want to build very quickly the shock chance through all the enemies, and you want to get to the max stack of multiply by 20 all the damage that you deal with to everyone. So this percentage of chance is potentially a bit better than damage, so you need to take into account that. You want to have a high quantity, so it's affecting as many targets as possible, and this is like your main source of damage, so really you want to build that. If you have Smart Missile, I do not recommend that you build Smart Missile. I think this is a trap. I deeply regret to have put so many stones into the cooldown. Don't build Smart Missile. The second thing that you want to build is Chronofield. And Chronofield is all or nothing ultimate weapon. Basically what I mean is that until it's permanent, it sucks. So you want to, if you start Chronofield, you want to get to a duration that is at least equal to the cooldown of your Chronofield. Bearing in mind that potentially you're gonna get those perks that we have today, which is reducing the duration of Chronofield, Golden Tower, Poison Swamp, and Black Hole by 1 second, and this is scaling. So the maximum level is 10 seconds. So depending on the amount of wave that you are managing to do, the duration here should be overcapped by 10 seconds versus the cooldown that you have. You can help yourself through potentially a substat into your module here that is increasing the amount of duration or reducing the cooldown. That is going to help you. But and if it helps having a Chronofield, this is also something that should be high on priority, probably before the Chronofield speed reduction. When you have a permanent Chronofield, and only when you have a permanent Chronofield, it's worth starting the speed reduction. You don't want to aim for the maximum, which is 75%. The 90% you see here is because I have my module. You probably want to aim for something that is like 45, 50. It's going to give you a lot of benefit. So that is the second thing that you want to work on. Speed reduction has an increasing return on investment. So to the contrary of increasing the damage that you get on ultimate weapon, when you move from 100 to 120, you're actually increasing by 20%, but from 200 to 220, you are only getting 10% increase with the same flat number, which is 20. So here with speed reduction, it works the same way defense percentage is working. So the closer you get to 100%, and the more each point is going to increase the value of this stat. So at some point you want to work on this, but I don't think on the champion you need to go well above like 50-55%. The priority on Chronofield is really to have a cooldown that is 1 minute. You can potentially work on this. It's not going to be wasted. You are going to use it anyway, but to me, it's not the priority. Put the stones into chain lightning. And then the last thing that you want to work on is spotlights. And then spotlights in champions, you want to potentially have free beam, and you want to have an angle of, so my angle is 45 degrees, and then I get 15 degrees from the module. So if you have free beam, you potentially want to have an angle that is around 40 degrees, 37 degrees. That starts to be decent. You are covering like a fraction of your tower that is significant. You're not going to get everything tagged through the spotlight, but what the spotlight is going to allow you to do is that most bosses, they are going to be hit by spotlight at some point, and then you are going to clean mobs around your tower, lowering the amount of attack speed that you need to maintain all those mobs outside of the tower range. So this is going to help you like control the enemies because you are going to kill them quicker. Regarding the bonus damage, you don't need to go ham on bonus damage. At the beginning, like do the first like 3-4 level. It's not really what matters. What matters is the number of enemies that are tagged. In champion, I think this is much more important. So priority number 1 is chain lightning. You really want to have a strong chain lightning. If you have an amazing chain lightning, as I say, any mob that any enemy that are killed, they don't need to be controlled. Chronofield is the second thing that you want to work on, and you want to have a permanent one. And then spotlight. So this is the first strategy. Is first you go economical, and then while you are building this, you have a strong economy, so you invest into the cards that research mastery, and you get them to a good level. So now the question is, what card mastery do you want to go for? To me, the first card that you want to invest in is the damage. So the damage plus is going to multiply what the damage is already multiplying, this is like pretty nice. I think like just when you unlock, you get 40% damage. Then level 1 of mastery is 1.8, level 2 is 2.2, so you get 0.4 time multiplicator every time that you manage to go one mastery research. And honestly, if you are capable of doing, as I was mentioning, 200 trillion per day, that means in 5 days you farm 1 quadrillion. So in a week you are capable of farming enough for the first level. Then in 3 weeks you have 3 levels in here, and this is like starting to snowball. So this is something that after it gets like way more expensive, so it's probably not going to be able to go way further, but at least you get level 2 or level 3, and you have already multiplied all your damage by 2.6, which is massive. The second card that you may consider is Demon Mode. Demon Mode basically is doing the same, and when it finishes, you get a multiplicator of your damage that is important for only 300 wave. But most of the time, the multiplicator that you get here, it's not going to be able to make you survive more than 300 wave. So you don't care about the fact that it only lasts for 300 waves, because you're gonna be dead in 300 waves when Demon Mode is activating. I mean, when you activate Demon Mode. So it's not like something that you want to activate early on. You want to activate the Demon Mode when you are on the edge of getting killed, and then you know that you are going to get the 3 waves from Demon Mode and then 300 waves that you are going to get this bonus. So that is something that is doable. And while you're doing so, you are working on the ultimate weapon that I explained. So that's strategy number 1. You start with economy and then you switch to ultimate weapon. I explain you, this is not a strategy that I choose. I know that there is people that are following my channel that follow this strategy successfully, and they are doing great. So it is possible. It's not the one that I choose. Today I'm going to explain you the strategy that I choose that is the opposite. So the strategy that I choose is when I reach champion, I had like a low economy. I was probably like making around 1 trillion a day. which is way below what I just explained before. And the reality is that if you are capable of making 1 trillion a day, you are sustainably capable of looking at all the research that matters, that are not masteries, like even the expensive one that are like 200 billions. You can do them, it's fine. It's 1 trillion a day, it's completely fine. And the only things that you are going to nerf you on is the enhancement, because someone that is using the first strategy is probably going to get like 0.10 or 0.15 on damage, on health, on those kind of things. But it's not really like, it doesn't really matter. We're just talking about 10%, so it doesn't really matter. This is where it's expensive, basically. So if you're just making 1 trillion a day, yeah, you're not going to go very ham on this. But someone that is going full economic is not going to go way further because of the way it scales. So this is just like, it's going to be okay, but you're going to be a little bit behind on this. And then instead of that, early on Champion League, you invest massively into Chain Lightning and you go ham on Chain Lightning. And when I say ham, is really ham. Like the Chain Lightning that you see here is, I haven't touched it since I stopped investing it when I was mid champion. So I actually was running at some point champion tournament with the Chain Lightning that you see here, this percentage of chance and this damage. So you go full on Chain Lightning, full on. It's like the go-to. Every time that you have stones, you put it either on chance or on damage. And you try to calculate which one has the most benefit. You need to try to equilibrate them. Usually, like the damage, it's increasing by 30%. So you see, if you increase that by 30%, that's 600. So it's about 30%. It's a little bit less. It's 25% actually here. So 25% of damage. And then the percentage of chance is increasing by 1.5% chance of increase. So that here is a bonus that is basically, I would say, so 10% will be a 4% chance increase. 5% is a 2% chance increase. So it's a little bit than 5% in my case. But it's not the same price. It's not the same price. So I would do just like an Excel chart and I would try to get like the benefits of per stones, whether if I go on chance or on damage. You need to have both, and it's comfortable to have a lot of damage because you just one-shot everything at some point. So step 1, you go completely ham on Chain Lightning. Completely ham on Chain Lightning. Step 2, you're not going to work on Chronofield, you're going to work on Spotlight. Because what you want with this strategy is not to control your enemy, is to kill everything. So you want to work on Spotlight. And you want to go free beam, 45 degrees angle, and this is going to clean pretty much the whole screen all the time. When you get there, you can start working on Chronofield. And you don't spend, while you're doing this, you don't spend a single stone on Death Wave, on Golden Tower, or on Black Hole. You don't spend a single stone. If you are making 1 trillion a day, it's more than enough to sustain the research that you want to do. That is the strategy that I choose, and I think it's been really good because as many people are focusing on economy, you are getting a lot of value from like ultimate weapons that are providing you value right now. So very quickly you are going to get space in tournaments and you are going to generate more stones. Because you generate more stones, it starts snowballing, and then you can invest more, and then you can generate more stones, etc, etc. So this is something that to me has been really good versus other people. I know that other people did the first strategy and they managed to do it well, but this is what I prefer to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the research that are associated with the two strategies that I just explained to you. And by the way, when you have everything here, what I did is that with just this strategy that I explained, with like a very shitty economy, I've been able to go to Legend Tournament, sustain Legend Tournament, and get keys every single week, making 1 trillion a day. So this is something that is completely possible, at least when I was doing it. So this strategy is working. At some point, you will need to increase your economy so you are able to afford the cards to go further. But if I managed to get, like few months ago, mid rank in champions with this strategy, then you can do it in champion. And if you're interested of seeing what I just explained you, if you want to prove what I just explained you, I have a series that is called My Tower is Weird. You can watch the first episode. In this first episode, I am reaching some top 8 in Legend, not champion. I am very often hitting top 15 in Legend, and I show my history. And my overall LTC is less than 1 quadrillion. So that is giving you an idea that I managed to did that. So it's not just hot air that I'm throwing at you. Okay, so let's talk about the research that I do recommend when you are working on your economy. So, which is strategy number 1. I think it's important that you are aligned on the stones that you spend. If you're spending them on economy and you are going for this, you need to work on research that are providing economical bonuses. So here you want to go for the coins per kill bonus because you want to generate as quickly as possible a great economy. This is very important. You want to potentially start working also on the a lab coin discount because you will need this economy to go into the card masteries, and reducing this amount by significant fraction is going to help you a lot. The other things that you want is on ultimate weapon, you obviously want to max everything that is providing you coins. So I'm talking about the finally, another research that I find that is very good is attack speed, because that is going to provide you more control in tournaments, especially at the beginning when you are entering champions. If you are using the card that is enemy balance, you need to have attack speed. And after, because we are going to switch to chain lightning, and chain lightning in scaling on attack speed, you want to have a good attack speed. So that's also a research that you can consider very heavily when you are going for the first option. Then after, you are going to switch to damage, and this is basically what I do recommend to start with when you are working on strategy number 2, which is going full on chain lightning. So if you go full on chain lightning, you want to have damage, attack speed, critical factor that are running 24 hours 7. Those 3 things, extremely basic, low amount of coins, so you don't need to spend a lot of coins because you're not generating a lot of coins. So if you don't generate a lot of coins, don't spend a lot of coins. It's like finance, you don't do that. You just do those 3 things. They are amazing, they scaled amazingly with chain lightning, and you want to get them as high as possible. Those 3 things are amazing. Then on ultimate weapon, what you want to do is you want to have the shock chance and shock multiplicator. So this needs to be almost maxed. You can aim for level 10, potentially max it to level 14. And then shock chance, you can aim to level 15. If you go to level 20, it's going to be good. After, it's a little bit more money, but it's just more time. And that is what is not something that we want to spend too much on. It's time. So that is another thing that you can work, because you need to have your chain lightning to shock enemy quickly, so you DPS them as quickly as possible. Another thing that is important is to work on your module. If you want to go damage, you need to have great modules to support your damage. You need to have reroll shard that is at a good level, daily mission shard that is at a good level, and then the drop chance that are a good level, and module shard cost. So those 5 things needs to be at a good level. So your modules here, they are growing quicker than competition, and they are dealing more damage than competition. And because you have a lot of reroll shard, you are going to reroll them a lot, so you get the great substat that I did recommend, and then you get ahead of competition on your modules. So this is why I do recommend that you are running the modules research. If you go for the strategy number 1, you want to be ahead on every aspect that is providing you damage. That is going to be very important. For strategy number 2, what do we want to put our coin on? Our coins, they are going into damage plus, you ignore completely rend armor, and then when you have it, critical factor. And you just go as far as you can on those two. The things that you can consider is potentially the coin bonus, a little bit, like just at the beginning when it's not expensive. The sales bonus is way more important because you want to get the research to go quickly. So that is the things that you may also consider. Health, you can put a little bit of health, especially at the early level that are not costing anything. They're like 4 billion. I mean, that doesn't cost much, but you don't want to go very far on this. Your strategy over here is to unlock attack speed. So I know it's going to take you time because you don't have a good economy, and this is like 500 trillion spent, so you're not going to get it there very quickly. But here you want to invest your coins into damage, critical factor. That is the two things that you want to invest in. If you are following this strategy, we don't want to have rend armor because rend armor is going to cost us some coins, and it's going to take some auto upgrade from the things that have value, so we don't want that. And because we have such a strong chain lightning, this is going to be meaningless, so we don't want rend armor. And we don't want to have the wall because the wall is helping you farm, and we don't want to farm, we want to kill enemies. So the wall, the problem with it is that if you want to get a good one, you need to invest a lot of time into your research. We don't want to do that. What we want is to invest our research into things such as greater modules, greater attack, greater critical attack, greater attack speed. This is our main focus. And we don't have time to invest into the wall because we are doing something else. So wall is a farming tool. It's not going to help us a lot here because the plan is to move from what we had before to glass cannon, and I mean glass cannon, not hybrid, as soon as possible. We don't want to have the wall. Module wise, we want to switch as soon as possible to ACP because we want to go full glass cannon. We want to be able to kill everything, and ACP is going to help us. So initially, potentially, we're not going to use ACP, but as soon as possible, we want to go and use ACP. Here, we want project funding. We don't want to have Galaxy compressor. We must use project funding. Even if we have a project funding that is epic and a Galaxy compressor that is ancestral, we use project funding for this strategy. The idea is really to go ham on damage. We must use Dimension Core, whether it's at a great stage or not. This is way too important to be ignored. Even at epic, you multiply the damage that you deal by 5. Legendary by 10. This is massive. So we need to have Dimension Core with this strategy. This is very important. If you're still in the video, if you tell me which of the two options that you would rather follow if you one day reach champion or you're already in champion, and you write it down into the comment, I will add your name once more into the Excel chart for the review. Guys, that's what I have for you today. I think I covered most of the aspects of the game that I think are very important to deal with when you are in champion. I know that champion is very competitive, as I was saying at the beginning. I tried to give you two different routes versus one if you want to be more farming oriented, how to benefit from that, and one if you want to go in a different road, the one that I followed, and that worked for me quite well. So you have two options. I think that whatever you choose, it's important that you are playing a style that you like to play. And if you like to see increase the coins per minute that you are making, like every week, then potentially the strategy that I propose to you is not the right one, like the second one. You probably want to go for the first one because, I mean, at the end of the day, You're here to enjoy yourself and play a game the way you want it. I give you some hint on what I think is efficient, but you need to take pleasure. You need to enjoy what you are doing. If to the opposite, you don't really care about coins increasing and what you want is to rank as high as possible, as fast as possible, I believe, and that's my belief, maybe there is some people that will disagree with me, that investing heavily in Chain Lightning early on is going to provide you a lot of benefit. So that is what I think. But I hope it helped. I hope it gives you some ideas of what to expect, where to go for, what to invest in if you want to be successful in Champion. I really hope it did. Thanks for watching, and I see you on the next video.